Welcome back. It's time now for a check of the top business news stories, and our business editor Owen Fairclough is here in the studio. Hello, Owen.
Hello, Tom.
Now, Spain back in the frame again this Tuesday, but let's be honest, the whole Eurozone is getting drawn right back into crisis territory, isn't it?
Well, take your pick, Tom. The Dutch, the French, the Spanish, the Italians, in fact, pretty much any country. I think maybe just Finland are just keeping themselves quietly out of the frame right now, all for one reason or another, in various sorts of trouble, causing lots of uncertainty around the markets. That said, we had a big sell-off there on Monday. The DAX finished the day more than 3% down. The story's a little bit brighter this morning as many investors look for some cheap stocks around Europe. Countries to watch today after the resignation of the Dutch Prime Minister yesterday. The Netherlands will be selling off short-term paper, around €2 billion worth of government debt. I don't know many traders who often look at Dutch bond yields. You can be sure they will be looking at them today to see how that country performs after the resignation of its government over austerity wrangling. Spain as well selling off a similar amount of 3 and 6 month debt, so in the frame. But as you can see there, all of the European markets opening around 0.5% up. Onto the Asian markets, well, a much more mixed picture there. The Hang Seng did manage to find some gains late in the day, as did the Shanghai Composite, turning positive in the late trading session. But you can see there the Nikkei ending the day around 0.8% down.
All right, a rather mixed picture there by the looks of things. But one stock that is managing to hold up, albeit somewhat modestly, is News Corp. The UK phone hacking scandal wiped millions off its market cap when Rupert Murdoch's empire was forced to admit wrongdoing. And the media mogul is unable to draw a line under that scandal. Later this week, well, he'll have to give more evidence to that inquiry. But before that, his son James is facing the music once again.
The Murdochs will be asked about the phone hacking scandal that led to the closure of the UK tabloid The News of the World last July, after revelations the paper listened to voicemails of a murdered schoolgirl.
This terrible thing happened on your watch. Mr. Murdoch, have you considered resigning?
No.
Why not?
Because I feel that people I trusted, I'm not saying who, I don't know what level, let me down, and I think they behaved disgracefully and betrayed the company and me, and it's for them to pay.
But Murdoch has been paying in terms of his reputation. This is the media mogul's worst crisis, and it has hit his pocket too. News Corp spent around $200 million dealing with the scandal and settling dozens of lawsuits by hacking victims. And it abandoned a bid to buy all of broadcaster B-Sky B. James Murdoch stood down as B-Sky B chairman earlier this month. The share price over the last year sank at one point last August to $14. It is currently trading slightly higher than a year ago. While Murdoch closed the News of the World, he bounced back with a Sunday version of The Sun. The markets, though, don't see the newspaper titles as crucial. What they'll be looking for is effective damage limitation. Murdoch will have to show he's turning the tide on the flow of controversy.
Just worth mentioning while we're talking about News Corp that James Murdoch will be heading back to that inquiry today. That was after Sky News, one of News Corp's subsidiaries, admitted at its evidence yesterday to that inquiry that it in fact had hacked into email of key public figures. That was after denying that it had done so. Let's stay with a few more company stories for you now, starting with Facebook, whose profits have fallen just weeks before it's expected to launch one of the biggest stock market flotations in history. The social networking site's first quarter profits were down nearly 7% to just over $1 billion. The firm said boosting staff numbers by 40% and the purchase of photo application Instagram contributed to extra costs. Facebook values itself at $77 billion and is preparing to float on the Nasdaq over the next couple of months.
Now, the largest institutional shareholder in cable and wireless worldwide is refusing to back a £1 billion takeover offer from Vodafone. Well, Vodafone, which is the world's largest mobile phone operator, has become the sole bidder for CWW after Tata pulled out. But Orbis Holdings, which owns 20% of CWW, says Vodafone's bid doesn't reflect the value of the company.
And Walmart shares have dipped 4.5% after US lawmakers opened an inquiry into bribery allegations. The US chain is accused of covering up revelations that its Mexican subsidiary spent millions of dollars bribing officials in exchange for building contracts. Bribery is punishable with jail under US laws. Walmart says it's determined to get to the bottom of the allegations.
Now, he was the first world leader to be tried for the subprime disaster that ruined his country, but Iceland's Prime Minister has been acquitted of the most serious charges of negligence. And 4 years on, those who lost heavily are still wondering why their banks were allowed to boom and bust so spectacularly. France 24's William Hildebrandt has more.
Some said he was responsible, others said he was a scapegoat. On Monday, Iceland's former Prime Minister Geir Haarde was found guilty of failing to meet with his cabinet over key developments during the 2008 economic collapse. But he was acquitted of 3 major charges of mishandling the crisis.
This is obviously a purely formalistic charge. It has nothing to do with the banking crisis as such. I can tell you that I have always found this charge to be even more ridiculous than the others.
After years of debt-fueled expansion, by late 2008, Iceland's banking sector had swelled to 9 times its GDP. The country of just 320,000 people was forced to borrow some $10 billion from the IMF and other lenders. The state took over the country's 3 largest banks, ring-fenced their domestic operations while letting international ones go bankrupt. And in August last year, Iceland successfully completed a 33-month bailout program. It's been a long road to recovery, and the island is finally emerging from the turmoil. The IMF forecast Iceland's economy to grow 2.4% this year, better than any Eurozone country. Haarde's verdict, though, has left many Icelanders angry that no one has been held accountable for the crisis. While investigations are underway, none of the men in charge of the banks that collapsed have been tried.
Well, that was The Business. Thank you very much indeed to you, Owen Fairclough. Thanks for watching. Do stay tuned. We've got more news coming up in just a moment.
Watch France 24 live and free on your mobile phone. Anywhere in the world, on almost any cell phone, whatever your provider. Watch France 24 live and in 3 languages. France 24 on your mobile phone. Just visit our website, france24.com, and click on mobile. Select your phone brand, enter your phone number, and you'll receive a free SMS telling you how to install our player. You can watch France 24 live and get the latest world news for free on your mobile.